I'm Dolla. I'm the guest curator for Thui Nguyen, An Everyday Dream, which is being presented by the Factory Contemporary Art Centre in partnership with Thui Design House. Over the course of my career as a curator and a museum director, I've had the great privilege of working with historical and contemporary fashion collections, and I've also had the opportunity of working with fashion designers such as Colette Dinnigan and Akira Isagawa, as well as on exhibitions such as A Fine Possession, Jewellery and Identity, and Isabella Blow, A Fashionable Life, both of which were shown at Sydney's Museum of Applied Arts and Sciences, as well as on the exhibition Think and Feel, A New Era of Tokyo Fashion, which was exhibited at Sherman Contemporary Art Foundation, also in Sydney. Fashion exhibitions provide an intimate experience for visitors to engage and immerse themselves with the creative process of the designers, and they also act as a source of inspiration. I first met Thui in Ho Chi Minh City in mid-2019. She's a visual artist, fashion designer, change maker, influencer, trailblazer, entrepreneur, and a businesswoman. Her creative practice spans diverse disciplines including painting, art installations, film and design. And after 9 years at the helm of her eponymous label, Thui Design House, Thui was keen to reflect on and share her life in fashion. Most exhibitions begin with a conversation, and we talked over the course of many months, as well as sending each other lots of images of things that we liked and interested us via WhatsApp. And one of my favourite moments was sitting on her living room floor at her home in Ho Chi Minh City with her daughter. We were surrounded by all her artworks and the objects she had collected, and her house is full of glorious, vibrant colour. Spread out in front of us were all of these wonderful black and white Polaroids that she'd collected from the 1960s. They showed Vietnamese women wearing áo dài, looking incredibly glamorous with these wonderful beehive hairdos. It was a glimpse into her life, a moment in time, and it gave me real insight into how deeply she feels about Vietnam and its culture and its traditions. I'm interested in clothes because I see them as having biographies and lives. They can be read as a map of our past and present, and Thui's collections are above all autobiographical. Her collections, for example Vien Man, are often fashioned around narratives such as motherhood, home, spirituality and nature. And while Thui didn't formally train as a fashion designer, my subsequent visits to her home, studio and her atelier in Ho Chi Minh City, as well as to Hanoi, her place of birth, provided other glimpses into her world, and it reinforced my impression of her approach as intuitive and authentic. I think of her creative practice as being built up of layered meanings and an understanding of the symbiosis between tradition and innovation and between East and West. In many ways, this duality reflects the different popular perceptions of the two cities she inhabits. Hanoi as a political and administrative capital with its old world charms, diligent but austere, and Ho Chi Minh City as the commercial and industrial hub of Vietnam with its entrepreneurial and cosmopolitan spirit. I think above all, Thui values new ideas and individuality. Inspiring imagination and creativity are central to her ethos. It's an attitude that underpins and informs her visual arts practice and, by extension, her fashion. For Thui, painting and fashion have the same elements, colours and shapes. However, this understates her design's most important characteristics, namely an emphasis on form and construction, ornamentation and exaggeration, drama and flamboyance. And I like that she designs entirely on her own terms, refusing to compromise, never satisfied, and constantly on the lookout for new things, for new goals. An Everyday Dream focuses on the different thematic elements of Thui Design House. From a curatorial perspective, the aim was to illustrate the diversity and richness of their collections and their inspirations. The focus is on THUY'S unique creative perspective, illustrated by the garments, the accessories, ensembles, but also archival material drawn from her own personal collection. Each theme is presented in a series of strikingly designed mise-en-scène so that you're immersed into her world. Ultimately, the exhibition celebrates the creative process and the dynamic, fluid designs of contemporary Vietnamese fashion, both within Vietnam itself and in the global context. It's also important to recognize that fashion exhibitions are the result of many creative talents coming together. It requires special collaborative skills and the participation of many people. And in particular, I'd like to acknowledge and thank Zoe Butt, Yuen, Bao and Kien, as well as the teams from the Factory and THUY Design House. I also want to extend my thanks to Professor Anne-Marie Leskovich for her insightful and thoughtful catalogue essay. And finally, it has been such a great pleasure and privilege to spend time with THUY Nguyen for her curiosity, her creative vision, and for her generosity of spirit.